Hey everybody, this is Wally with Fanfiction Classroom, and let's talk this week's episodes of The Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow. With Flash, we all saw the introduction of Saviator, and we also saw Wally's transformation into the Kid Flash. They may not have shown his powers, but at the end, you saw him uh, get them. We also saw that the group found out about Caitlyn's powers, and Cisco had that vision of them fighting, which I thought was a pretty awesome little scene they had there, a little precursor to maybe what would be happening next week. We also know that next week is the Killer Frost episode. The entire Killer Frost episode is going to be predicated on the episode before the last one. It's going to be that she ends up saving Barry's life from Saviator. His appearance was a surprise in that episode. I did not see it coming. The fact that him and Dr. Alchemy are working together is not a surprise. We all knew that was going to happen. Two main villains this season, both Saviator and Dr. Alchemy. How next week is going to go is that Caitlyn is going to use her powers to save Barry from Saviator. And that is going to result in that darkness, that Killer Frost persona taking over. So Barry and the team are going to have to try to bring her back. I hope she's not Killer Frost forever. The good Caitlyn persona, that character I really like. But Killer Frost is going to be the main villain next week. I guess you can't really say it's a villain. I mean, Barry's her friend, Cisco, the rest of the team, they're going to be concerned for her, and they're going to want to bring her back to, well, relative sanity. Melt that cold heart that she has. While Caitlyn, on the other hand, is going to be searching out Alchemy to find a way for him to remove her powers. Because, he's been giving them, why can't he figure out how to remove hers? And, well, she's going to be kind of ruthless. It's going to be bloody, and I think that's going to be an amazing thing to see. We also saw that Barry punches Julian in the face. Tom Felton, amazing actor, but seeing the Flash punch him in the face, I think is the greatest thing I've seen so far this season. And I mean, Saviator looked awesome, and he'd be the second coolest thing that we saw this season. On Arrow, we got the introduction of Vigilante Adrian Chase. His character is more bloody than I expected, ruthless. I mean, it reminds me of Oliver season 1, but I think that's the comparison the producers and the writers wanted to make, except Oliver never directly caused the death of innocent civilians. I mean, he never had that collateral damage literally taking that risk where innocent people might get hurt. You saw the vigilante attack that hotel room where Oliver was rescuing that gang member to turn him in. I mean, Vigilante ended up killing 3 innocent bystanders in that attack. And when Oliver confronts him later in the episode, you find out that to him it's a war. And, he's partly right that it is an ongoing battle between criminals and the people who want to protect the city. But what this guy, the Vigilante, doesn't understand is that you cannot beat them by becoming like them, and Oliver figures that out too during this episode. That he has to do things the right way. And it seems that while Oliver is going to progress down that road of keeping people alive, saving the innocent, and while turning the criminals in for the justice system to handle, and it may be a longer path, Vigilante seems like he's going to become more bloodthirsty and vicious to the criminals of the city. I expect to see him and the Green Arrow battling it out again. May happen a couple of times. Maybe the Green Arrow will get through to him, make him see reason. But I don't expect that to be the end-all be-all this season. I think it's going to run for a while until either the Vigilante ends up dead, in jail, or sees reason and modifies his actions like Oliver did over the course of the series so far. We also got to find out that Evelyn Sharp is in league with Prometheus. I figured there might be a traitor on the team, and I just should have expected her from her comic book history. And, well, I know they make their own characters do their own thing in this way, but the fact that they added her to the team and what happened last season with her parents' death, it's not surprising that she would end up being the traitor. That she would be the spy on the team. I've had many theories about who Prometheus is. Tommy, Malcolm in Disguise, which I know is ridiculous, but we all know because that it's going to tie back into season one. Mark Guggenheim said it's all a tie into that. Yet I think Prometheus is going to be a family member of someone Oliver killed in season one. I don't think it's going to be Tommy. At the beginning I thought it might be him because that was floating around. But Colin O'Donnell has a has a full-time job on, what do you call it? That Chicago Med. Never seen it. Sounds like a Grey's Anatomy ripoff. But I don't think he's going to have time in his schedule to be in it. Come and actually be Prometheus under the mask. I definitely want to hear your opinions on who you think Prometheus is going to be. Oliver did end up killing a lot of people in the first season. So a strange family member or someone who actually figured it out and is plotting revenge and had time to train over those 4 years. It is possible to have someone of that skill level challenge Oliver. I don't think it's Lance being. I don't think he's Prometheus. He doesn't have the training, and even though he is blacking out, it doesn't all of a sudden mean that he has the capability of killing all those people with that kind of skill. Prometheus, I don't believe, is at Oliver's level yet, but he's good enough to make it obvious that it's not Lance. And even though Lance is going through all that grief with Laurel and that drunken haze that he's going through, he's just not that cold-blooded killer. And unless he's having a psychotic episode where he automatically has this new persona or new dual identity that automatically has all these skills, it makes no sense. I think that whoever Prometheus is knows that Lance is working with the Green Arrow and it's trying to torment him and Oliver at the same time, and it somehow must come into play together. That he's not only targeting the Green Arrow, but he's trying to torment Lance as well because something they must have done together. On DC's Legends of Tomorrow, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. Overall, the episode explains how Ray is going to be able to remake the Atom suit, Steel getting his own little costume there, and at the end, showing how the Legends end up back in 2016 to help out with the 4-part crossover. It's not it's not a big thing. It's Sarah basically saying our friends need us back in 2016. The entire plot of the episode, while being a good story, it's more of how Ray is rebuilding his suit, how Stein is having memories or flashes of a life he doesn't know, and he's afraid of his own future, and that is going to his character. That's going to influence his character during the crossover. At least I know during the Legends part of the crossover. Overall, I thought this week's episodes of The Flash, Arrow, and Legends Tomorrow were pretty good. The Flash, introducing Saviator and Wally getting his powers and what's going to happen with Caitlin next week, and Arrow finding out there's a spy in their midst, and Lance going to rehab to get help, and Legends of Tomorrow, introducing the solution for Ray rebuilding his Atom suit for the crossover. I want to hear your opinions on the thoughts of these episodes, on the thoughts of the 4-part crossover, and all the things we're going to see in the future. Evelyn's role as a spy, Saviator's introduction, the 4-part crossover when the Legends show up. And it seems with the 4-part crossover that Barry's message hasn't come into play yet. There was no scene where Jax and Stein told her about Barry's message. I don't think that's going to come into play until late into the crossover or after. This is it for Fanfiction Classroom. Stay tuned. Class dismissed.